Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new, and welcome to my first video of 2024. Hope you all had a good New Year's, but after the last two games last week, I've needed a few days off before thinking or talking about Arsenal. And as we have the Liverpool game coming up on Sunday in the first round of the FA Cup, it's probably about time to get over it and make another video, but still makes me angry if I think about what happened last week. Anyway, like I said, I hope you all had a good New Year. I don't know if you can all see my impulse buy from the other day, enjoying the darts last week, or this week, shall I say. Luke Littler, what a boy. See that now? That's going to be me for the foreseeable, and you'll see me in the old Ali Pally next year winning it. But yeah, just a quick mention on that kid, 16 years of age. What a boy. What a boy. Hopefully we see him winning in the future. But anyway, back to more important things and back to the Arsenal. And like I said, big game coming up on the weekend. But just before that, I want to talk about another couple of things that's happened this week. I know the transfer window's open now, and you know, a few of my pals have been saying to me do a transfer show, etc. The only reason I'm not really doing it is because I don't believe Arsenal are really going to sign anyone in this window. No one of note anyway. We have been linked with potentially getting in a fullback. Gutierrez, I believe it is, from Girona, I think. But apparently it's a very complicated deal. And to be honest, I can't see us doing anything of note. I think all of our signings that we've been linked to will all be something we look to do in the summer. I know everyone wants a striker and a midfielder and a winger, and I want all them things as well, but realistically it's not going to happen in Jan. And I can see, you know, some of the names heavily linked, like Zubimendi from Real Sociedad, I think will be Arsenal's first choice target in the summer, in the midfield especially, and I think that's, you know, when we'll talk about it more. But, you know, when something comes out that actually looks credible and it looks like Arsenal going to do something, I'll comment on it, but until then, I don't really see the point, because I really can't see us doing much, and I can't see us selling much at the minute. One sale to maybe keep an eye on is Nketiah to Palace, which I can't see happening this month. But, you know, apparently it's something that Palace are very interested in, and if they do push for it, they're going to push hard. So, wait and see. But transfer-wise, I wouldn't hold my breath too much in this January transfer window. I don't see Arsenal doing much. But another thing on Arsenal I want to talk about was Arsenal have obviously put in a complaint with the refereeing body about the treatment of Bukayo Saka and the fact he's not getting much protection. When I first saw it, I just thought how embarrassing. You know, he's been playing badly and then you're complaining that he's being kicked. But that was before I read it. And once you read into it, it does actually make sense, to be fair. So once you read into the article, I just took a little section from it just explaining what it's from. And basically what Arsenal's complaint is that, you know, they just put it in as part of a wider conversation between all of the clubs in the league and the refereeing bodies. And basically Arsenal were just saying we want the first really strong foul on Saka to be booked instead of the second or third. And, you know, I do kind of get it. Obviously, you want to protect your players. You don't want them risk, you know, you want to minimise the risk of them getting hurt. And you want them, obviously, to have the advantage of their direct opponent being on the booking, which obviously is going to make Saka a lot more dangerous in the game. And when you look into the stats, you can see that it is actually, you know, Arsenal do have a genuine point. You look at the person who's had the most cards given once they've been fouled, which would be Sterling. He's had 14 yellow cards that the opponents have picked up whilst receiving 31 fouls, Whereas Saka has only had opponents booked 7 times and he's received 43 fouls. So literally half the amount of cards, whereas he's had 12 more fouls on him. So you can sort of understand Arsenal's frustration and the fact that they are bringing it to attention. But yeah, you know, I just thought I'd comment on it because I've seen a lot of people going on about it, saying how embarrassing it is from Arsenal, etc. And that was my initial first reaction. But when you look into it, there is some sort of there is sort of good reason for Arsenal to be bringing it up, and it's not like Arsenal have just complained willy-nilly. It is part of a wider thing, so it's not actually as bad. But yeah, so those are the couple little bits I just wanted to briefly touch upon before we go into the game. But let's go into the game. FA Cup third round, technically the first round when the Premier League teams go into it. And Arsenal and Liverpool couldn't really have drawn a harder game. You know, you normally look at the third round thinking you'll get some maybe Championship or League One teams. But instead, you know, we've got the team that currently sits top of the table and a team we only played, a week or two ago, just before Christmas. So it's a really big game, and it's a big game for Arsenal and Arteta because you know my thoughts on the title race. I don't believe that Arsenal have a chance of winning it now. The only chance we will have is if Liverpool and City somehow fall off and allow us back in my opinion. But I just don't see it happening. And the FA Cup is a massive game for Arsenal and for Mikel Arteta. Obviously, when Arteta first come into Arsenal, he won the FA Cup in his first 6 months, which gave him a lot of credit in the bank. And then last season, obviously the title challenge, and the season before when we challenged for top 4 when people didn't expect us, is just, you know, boosted up on the credit he's had. But he got a lot of life in his first full season when he was really struggling, all because of that FA Cup win. And it's a massive, massive trophy for Arteta, and it's something we've not done well in since he's won it. Since he's won it, I don't think we've made it past the fourth round in the Cup, if I'm right in saying. And, you know, it's not an easy task, but I think this is a game Arsenal have to win, especially with the 2 back-to-back defeats in the league. Realistically, it's our best chance of a trophy, and it's one I really want us to see go for. And there's no reason to not go with a strong team in the FA Cup, because you don't play it midweek just before a league game a few days later. There's always a week in between, at least. And with this time, you know, we play this game, then we don't play again for 2 weeks, I believe it is. So we have to go strong in this game, and we have to get a win. One big advantage for Arsenal is the fact that Mohamed Salah won't be playing for Liverpool. Obviously, he's off to the African Cup of Nations. However, we might not have Tomiyasu, as he is potentially leaving to go to the Asia Cup. I don't think that's actually been 100% confirmed yet, but chances are he might be missing this game. Just a quick note, actually, on the African Cup of Nations and the Asia Cup. Now, there might be a reason for it, and maybe you lot can tell me in the comments, but why do they do these tournaments mid-season? I find it really, really frustrating. I don't understand it. You know, there's teams who, some of their best players, like Liverpool, their best players Mohamed Salah, like Spurs, their best players Son. You know, and they just piss off for like a month or so and miss 4 or 5 games in a season. And that can be quite detrimental to teams in the league. So unless, I don't know, is it something to do with, like, especially with the African Cup of Nations, is it something to do with maybe the weather? Maybe in the summer, is it just too hot to play? I don't know, but I don't understand why they do it mid-season. But anyway, that's a big advantage for Arsenal with Mohamed Salah not being there. Obviously, Liverpool's best player, and he is their best and most direct source of goals. And sometimes without him, they do struggle. However, like I said, I would have really liked to have Tomiyasu in this game to play as the fullback. But then if Salah's not your direct opponent, maybe you don't need to be as defensive. But Liverpool's still going to have a good team, of course. And I think it's a game that Liverpool will go really strong in as well. I think Klopp will look at it as an opportunity to really kick Arsenal as we're down and, you know, try to keep us down. And also, you know, he's the type of manager who wants to win everything. Only a couple of seasons ago, they played every possible game in the campaign by getting to all 3 finals they could have got to: Champions League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup. And they literally were, up until the very last day of the Premier League season, right in the title race. So they could have won 4 trophies, only ended up winning 2. But it's one that Klopp is definitely going to go for, 100%. And it's going to be a massive game. But this is a big opportunity for Arsenal to bounce back and get some confidence back. If we can go there and beat Liverpool, especially when we play them in our next, I think it's our next 3 league games, you know, that's going to be a real psychological boost, knowing that they're going to have to come to the Emirates for the league game in a game that is going to be a must-win if, you know, the boys have any sort of hope of trying to claw back any sort of margin in the Premier League. So it's a good chance to put a marker down and beat Liverpool, knock them out with a cup. And then also, you're knocking out one of the strongest and one of the favourites for the competition. So, you know, you're giving yourself an easier run, potentially. So, massive game. Not really much more to talk about. It's just, like I said, for Arteta, it's big for him. It's where he got his credit in the bank. So he has to have full respect for this competition. And it's something I don't feel like either he hasn't had full respect for since, or he's just been unlucky since. I think it's kind of a mixture of both. I think there have been some games where we've had easier games and we've lost in the FA Cup. Last season, all right, our second round game was to City away, and we lost 1-0. Can happen, fair enough. But I think this has got to be seen as a big opportunity for Mikel and the players. You know, these players haven't really won together. They need to win something this year, even if it is the FA Cup, which to me is a great trophy. I love the FA Cup. It's basically Arsenal's trophy. We've won it the most. Let's go and add another one add another one, yeah, and keep our dominance in the cup. I'm just going to go into my predicted 11. There will be some changes, but I don't think there's going to be loads. Thankfully, I believe my man Ramsdale will come back in between the sticks. You know my thoughts. I think he should be our number 1. I don't think Ray is better than him. And hopefully Ramsdale comes in and has a big game. And, you know, maybe can prove a point. Not that I think it's going to make much difference, unfortunately. Right back, I think, will be Ben White. As we all know, it's all come out from a few journalists that he is carrying a knock. And to be honest, I think you can see it in the way he plays. He doesn't quite look as free as he has done, well, as he did last season, for example. But he's going to have a big game, probably up against Diaz, so we're going to need him to be on it. But yeah, don't have any other options to rotate him out, really. I'd be extremely surprised if Cedric come back in. So yeah, Ben White comes in at right back. Centre-backs, I think he'll stick with Saliba and Gabriel. Like I said, due to the fact it is a massive game, we've had a week, well, 6 days, no, it will be a week, sorry. A week since our last game, and we're not playing again for a while, and it's something we need to win, so I can see him going with them too. Zinchenko is back in training and being assessed ahead of the game. I think he will play. I don't think he's going to want Kivior to play this game. And you saw he just doesn't really look comfortable at left-back. I probably ripped into him a bit too much and too harshly, but I mean, we're not majorly secure there, whoever plays, are we? So, but I think Zinchenko will play and hopefully he'll have a better game. And we did miss him against Fulham. We missed his control when he's progressing of the ball. And we're going to need him to, you know, if we want to dominate the ball against Liverpool, Zinchenko's going to be a massive part of that. In front of them, I do think Jorginho will play this game. And I've predicted this a few times recently and he hasn't. But surely he's got to come back in because when he has played this season alongside Rice, we have looked a better team. And that's just a fact. So I think Jorginho, Rice and Odegaard will be in the midfield. If Rice and Odegaard are fit, you know they're pretty much always going to play. And then the forward line, this is where I think he may change a couple of things. I think Jesus will play. I think Saka will play. Do I think Martinelli will play? He did come off early last game. I think he might keep it the same. I think Martinelli might play. I think he will go pretty much his strongest team. But I would like to see maybe a Smith Rowe come in for maybe Martinelli or Odegaard and, you know, maybe playing the 10. But I've always liked Smith Rowe off the wing and I'd like to see him given a chance. But I think he might just stick with his strongest team for now and then make some changes earlier on in the game. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one to call because normally in the FA Cup you expect changes, but in a game this big, I don't think he will too much. So we'll see. And predicted score, it's going to be a little bit of a brave one, but I do see Arsenal bouncing back after our recent 2 games, and I think it's one that the players are going to be desperate to win and try going as far as possible in this competition. And the fact we're at home, I think, is a massive advantage. One thing we do not want is a draw. We cannot have this go to a replay because that's just an extra game you just do not need. So I'm going to go Arsenal 2 and Liverpool without Salah I think might struggle to score. So I'm going to say Arsenal 2, Liverpool 0. Let me know in the comments what you think the team will be and the score will be. And yeah, let's just hope for a big result. I'll do a match review after the game, either Sunday evening or Monday. So keep an eye out for that. Please do like, comment, subscribe and share. And yeah, talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.